Egypt is one of the world's most important, strategic, and intriguing nations. Yet much of the media's coverage of this vital story is shallow, poorly informed, or misleading. Egypt deserves better. I'm Eric Margolis, and I've come to Tahrir Square to experience Egypt's historic revolution firsthand. I want to meet the people who are prepared to sacrifice their lives for democracy in Egypt. And I want to dig deeper into the competing visions for Egypt's future. We're in Cairo's Tahrir Square, the epicenter of the Egyptian revolution, to become a magnet and a mecca for all of Egypt's rebellious youth. We're middle class and a lot of older Egyptians who are mad as hell and fed up with the existing order. This has been the scene of intense fighting where hundreds of people have been killed and thousands have been wounded by the police here. It's quiet right in this moment, but you never know when violence can break out, because just down the side streets are heavily armed security and riot police. But Egypt desperately needs a democratic, capable government. It is the leader of the Arab world. A third of all the Arabs are Egyptians. Egypt is the heart, the beating heart of the Arab people, of Arab culture, of Arab literature, Arab intellect, and Arab politics. And it's so important for Egypt, for the Arab world, and for we in the West to work with Egypt to make sure that it produces a modern democratic government, because it has never had one until now. For the last thousands of years, it's time Egyptians speak for themselves.
I think a lot of people pushed for the change because they wanted something better. They wanted to see Egypt become a better place for all of them.
It's easy to get caught up in the enthusiasm for change. It's very exciting to be included in a seminal point in history, a time when a people, a nation, a region may be charting a new course, one that could alter world events. I'm also fascinated when people share their personal stories and their reasons for wanting to be part of a revolution. But as a veteran correspondent, I know that any successful movement requires more than slogans. It needs more than the disaffected. It requires the masses, and especially the middle class.
In the last perhaps 10, 15 years, there was a feeling among Egyptians that the middle class crowd was disappearing. And I think part of the change manifest is to try and revive that middle class sector and bring them back in the mix and actually get them to lead Egypt. And I think it's very important that in Egypt, the middle class today are best positioned to move forward, even more than the rich and more than the poor, because they are the one that actually make, the biggest population, and they're the one ready for a better day, and they can push the others to join them.
There's no shortage of emotion, no shortage of passion in Tahrir Square. The people come to plead their case, to incite their fellow Egyptians, to vent, to cry, to simply be there. It's a complex story, one that has no easy outcome, no perfect Hollywood ending. And as I tweet my observations to the wider world, I can't help but wonder if the people around me understand just how convoluted their struggle really is. Revolutions don't start by mistake, and they aren't usually sustained organically. They require nurturing, fresh energy, and new emotions to inspire the people and propel the masses to act. Like the anti-war movement in the U.S. during the 1960s, the Egyptian revolution has also been one of youthful optimism. The uprising even has a soundtrack. Your song has become the anthem of the revolution, the song of the revolution. How did that happen?
Pretty much, we've always been focused on recording and speaking about revolution and change and a positive change in Egypt and in the entire Middle East. So I actually recorded my verse on the song Rebel 6 months before the revolution, calling for change and calling for the people to stand up. Yeah.
I remember it was like something around a year. Prisoner was recorded 2 years before the revolution.
Exactly. And then out of the blue, the revolution happened, and he recorded his verse the day before the internet got shut off. He was able to record and put it online and just let it speak for itself, because we knew we weren't going to have any kind of contact with the outside world through internet, Twitter, whatever it is that people use to contact the outside world. It was going to be lost, and hopefully that would kind of give some hope to what's going on and a calling to rebel.
Are we going to have a revolution here in Egypt that's going to be beamed out to the Arab world and liberate Egypt?
It's been beaming out to the Arab world. I mean, since day one. It started in Tunisia, and once that kind of like, when they took out Ben Ali, it kind of gave us that extra bit of hope that, you know what, we probably can do this. And when it pushed us to do that, it's given Syria hope, Libya, they finally got rid of their leader. And all that's left now is pretty much the Gulf regions and Syria to finally get him out, but he's kind of stuck like white on rice, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the Gulf is going to be harder because, I mean, the Gulf is backed up a lot by also Western powers, because it's very important for them that they remain how they are. Not only that, the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia, I don't want to talk too much into their politics, but...
Saudis own over $100 billion, or maybe up to $1 trillion by now, of assets in the United States.
Yes, because we fought for our freedom at the end of the day. We don't care who rules us as long as they don't take away our freedom again. And I mean, they have a certain a gap of time to prove themselves, and then we have elections again. So they have this amount of time to prove to everybody. If they put chains on people, they're not going to be elected again.
What is Egypt going to look like 10 years from now?
That's big. Egypt 10 years from now, hopefully it's united, it's powerful, it's peaceful. I don't know. It's just like, I just dream it's a utopia. I mean, not a utopia. I don't know. I can't answer that question.
It's in the people's genes. They know how to make us perfect society. It was a perfect society in Tahrir Square for 18 days. I think in 10 years, Egypt will be the capital of the whole Arab world as one nation.
I admire the confidence of the Egyptian people. From rap artists to shopkeepers, there is a sense of inevitability and a belief that they will control their own destiny. I'm sorry to say that I don't share their optimism, and I think the real story of the Arab Spring is yet to be written. So it's time to leave Cairo and travel to the heart of Egypt. The Nile River has united this nation since before the dawn of recorded history, and I want to see what secrets these ancient waters may reveal.